In the shadow of ancient hills, cradled by the winds of time, stood the small kingdom of Aruku, a land ruled not by conquest, but by quiet strength. King Sempan, sovereign of Aruku, was no stranger to honor. When the legendary poet Kapilar sent word of his sacred journey toward Parambu, Sempan answered without pause. He summoned his chariot, rallied his guards, and prepared to ride beside the sage whose words could silence war. But as the sun broke through the misty skies, Kapilar spoke, his voice calm like the forest before a storm. "Let no one follow." And so it was. The king and the poet rode alone, two figures fading into the wilderness. When they reached the outer edge of Aruku, where the kingdom's soil turned to untamed wild, Kapilar raised his hand. "Leave me here," he said, eyes fixed on the distant unknown. "Return to your throne, rule your land with iron, but let my path remain untouched." Sempan bowed, not in command, but in reverence. Kapilar turned and walked into the black forest, a world where no crown could follow. Days turned to nights, and nights into whispers of wind and fireflies. Finally, beyond the silent woods, he stood before a place the locals feared to name, Vedduvan Paarai, where green mountains rose like sleeping titans guarding the edge of fate. It was here that destiny would begin to stir. Kapilar crossed lands of stone, each step echoing across jagged rocks worn by time. The journey had weighed on him. His feet ached, and even the trees whispered for him to rest. He sat on a sunlit boulder, letting the silence settle over him like a shawl. And then, a sudden rush of movement. A young boy leapt across the rocks like a spirit born of the land itself. Barefoot, wild-eyed, fast. He ran past Kapilar before skidding to a halt a few yards ahead. He turned, curious. "Who are you?" Kapilar smiled faintly. "I am Kapilar." The boy tilted his head, unmoved. "I didn't ask your name. I asked who you are." The poet, master of words, was silenced. For a moment, in that boy's question was a mirror, one that reflected deeper than titles and names. Finally, Kapilar answered, voice soft as flowing ink. "I am a poet. I read the stars, the winds, the hearts of men, and I write." The boy, Neelan, stepped closer, eyes narrowed with curiosity. "What is writing?" Kapilar's eyes lit with purpose. Here, in the wilderness, was a mind unchained by kingdoms. "Writing," he said, "is carving thought into time. It's how we make memory eternal. It's how words live long after breath is gone." Neelan said nothing at first, just walked, and Kapilar followed, like dawn follows the night. Two figures, one ancient with knowledge, one young with fire, walking together toward a fate that neither yet knew. And so, through the sacred stillness of Vedduvan Paarai, the story of Velpari quietly began to take its first breath.